Welcome to Business in the Black, the podcast where ideas become plans, plans become actionable items, and actionable items become results. We're the go-to resource for Black entrepreneurs ready to build, grow, and dominate their industries. Each episode delivers real stories from real founders, their wins, their struggles, and the game-changing lessons that fuel success. From funding strategies to scaling secrets, we're serving up the knowledge, connections, and inspiration you need to transform your vision into victory. This is where Black excellence meets business mastery. Let's get to work. Before you get a dog, you can't quite imagine what living with one might be like. Afterward, you can't quite imagine living any other way. Carolyn Knapp. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Business in the Black. Again, I'm your host, Brandon Morgan, and it's so great to have each of you to join us again here today. As you can see, we're on location again. We're at Venetian Hills in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta proper, Georgia. All right, we're great to have Reginald Gooden here with us. He's the founder, the owner, the operator of Kirby's Paws Palace. And Reginald, actually, he told me not to say this, but he literally just celebrated a birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to Reginald. And, you know, big Virgo season, all that jazz. So, yeah, Reginald.
Thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here. I've been waiting to film and tell all of you all more about my business and just my love for dogs and just really how I came to do this.
So before there was a Kirby Paws Palace or Kirby's Paws Palace, you were a sitter on Rover. You know, what was going through your mind to say, you know, I think I'm going to decrease my Rover clientele and just, you know, branch out on my own?
So I think for me, it was when I saw an uptick in how many clients that I was getting through Rover, and I was just like, I could actually do this. And then when I actually really found out how much they take from me, you know, we love Rover, but there is a fee to access the website and the app. And so I was just like, I can get more money doing this privately. And honestly, a lot of my clients actually ask, do you do this privately? Because they don't want to pay the additional fees for that as well. So I was like, this could work. We can make this work. I got you.
Awesome. So again, we were a Rover sitter. Now I'm trying to figure out, okay, so, you know, why was it important for you to even start with Rover and not just jump into your own thing?
So I wasn't familiar with how to actually market the business and actually get clients. I could have gone, you know, door to door or, you know, posted flyers on social media and stuff like that. But I wanted a trusted platform because Rover does do a thorough background check and it has this level of security and trust already that I wanted to access. And then it allowed for me to make sure that my business is insured. And so prior to starting my own business, you know, Rover was the key to getting new clients, making sure that I had that level of trust from the parents because, you know, people treat their pets as babies now. So it's imperative that I have their trust from the beginning.
Got it. So when you talk about trust and you talk about backgrounds, you mean a background check for you?
Yes, I got a thorough background check. It's sort of like if you ever tried to adopt a dog. They want to make sure that you are home, make sure you got good income, make sure you have enough space, you know, all of the works. And I'm just like, well, for adopting a pet, I was like, this is a lot. Like, as long as I can feed the dog, I feel like it should be fine, right? But no, that is not the attitude to go into any of this with.
Got it.
But yeah, it was very thorough. Squeaky clean though.
So you run your kennel out of your home, right?
I do.
All right, and you know, basically, Kirby's Paws Palace is named after your own personal dog, Kirby.
Yes.
Well, why don't we just meet Kirby? I mean,
it's
really about her.
Yeah,
Kirby.
Absolutely. Kirby, come here. Come here, sweetie. Come here. Come on. All right.
Meet Kirby. Hi, Kirby. Yeah, you gonna look over there at the people, you know.
Want to give us some ASMR?
Yeah, you don't have to lick the mic, but you know. Yeah, you want to say hello?
No, nothing.
No.
All right. Well, yeah, this is Kirby. So let's talk about Kirby just a little bit. So how has she shaped your entrepreneurial journey?
So Kirby is the reason why I do a lot of the things. Like I make sure that I have money, I have food for her, make sure she's walked, make sure she's kept, make sure she's healthy. Like when I say people think of their pets as their children, this is my daughter. Like this is legit my daughter. So I do it for Kirby. Like I do everything for her. So when I wanted to start the business, I was like, I mean, Kirby has a great attitude with other dogs. And why not name it after her? I wanted something that she could have named after her because everybody in my house needs a job, okay? So she is the CFO, the chief fetch officer at Kirby's Paw
The
Palace.
chief fetch officer.
Listen, okay, everyone got a job. Everyone got a title. But she also helps with with making sure all the dogs play nicely and are respectable in their play.
Okay. Well, Kirby, nice to meet you. Yeah.
She knows how to shake.
Yeah. Kirby, you gonna shake my hand?
Say paw.
Paw.
Kirby.
Paw.
Kirby.
Kirby, like, paw, right here. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Close enough.
There we go. We got a paw. There you go. Y'all see the paw. There we cool. All right. Nice to meet you, Kirby.
All right.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye, babes. Bye, Kirbs.
You started with Rover
Uh-huh.
as a way to, of course, build credibility for yourself, for your business,
Right.
and now you're decreasing Rover and all of that sort of thing. So help me understand, how do you build trust now with new clients, who are essentially leaving, as you said, their kids with you, a total stranger?
So I'm still in the process of figuring out how to completely convert my Rover clients over to Kirby's Paw Palace, but then also starting off new clients in Kirby Paw Palace. One of the things that helped me to build trust was having the questionnaire, making sure that I have a licensed kennel. That is really big selling point for a lot of people. Me also being home, it not being a full-on large box sort of kennel situation.
Mm-hmm.
People want their dogs to be able to run around on grass and take daily walks and actually adhere to a schedule that's close to them at home. So that's one of the things. And then also I can't forget, I send daily videos and photos 3 times a day. So I send it at 9 a.m., 3 p.m., 9 p.m. And by 9 p.m., it's time for us to settle down and get ready to go to sleep.
Got it. Okay. Cool. So I also know that you do meet and greets.
Okay.
So let's talk about the meet and greets. You mentioned different things that you have, like the intake forms.
Mm-hmm.
What's the current process for intake, and how did you conceive that idea? How did you develop that?
So I really rely heavily on the intake process, especially the meet and greets, because that helps me to gauge, okay, does your dog actually listen to you when you're giving them commands? Are they distracted? Are they reactive in person? I want to make sure that I'm able to see the dog, not just on like a video and be like, oh yeah, they're in their house sleeping on their bed. No, I want to see them out in the wild, so to speak. Right. And so meeting with them in person is imperative to gauge that, as well as making sure Kirby comes along with me so they know that this is my dog. She has a very even keeled temper, so she gets along with most dogs. If she doesn't really get along with your dog, it might be something to watch out for. So she's been really helpful in that department. But like you said, the intake forms, it's a thorough questionnaire, but it's always room to add more questions. So I just try to make sure that I'm capturing all the behavioral things, because I love you, my pet parents, but y'all lie about who your dog is sometimes, and when they come here, they're a completely different person. They run wild, and I just try to get as much as I can to make sure that they have a great time and that everyone is safe. All the other dogs are safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Making the clients feel comfortable with leaving their kids with you,
yes,
is very important to your business.
Very
so help me understand, what changes you've made in your house. I've been in there, in the kennel, in the house, what have you, and I see that, one bedroom is totally dedicated to the dogs. Like there's a bathroom in there. There's really nice setup, and so I'm trying to figure out, you say that was a turning point for your business.
Correct.
And, what specific features did you implement or, what resonated most with your clientele?
So I think having a dedicated space, and I will give a shout out to two people who helped me to think through that. It is one, he definitely thought, operations wise, you need to be able to have a space that's completely dedicated towards the dogs, because then it doesn't bleed over into your personal life, and that way you can sort of just divide having the business and having a personal life inside of the home. So thank you for that.
Shout out to the BDM experience.
Right now. And then I had an awesome roommate who also actually helps out with the dogs when I'm unable to be there at certain times. And he also helps me pick up, drop off. He's a KPP associate. We call Kirby's Paws KPP around here. So KPP associate, my roommate Jorge, he has been great. And he also was a roommate who ended up moving out. And I took that space and made it for the dogs. One of the things that I changed about the house was I took out all the carpet. Oh my gosh, those dogs would pee on that carpet. It was disgusting. So I had to make sure I got that out of there. I took all the furniture out of there. It is a bare room. I have crates, extra crates. If you want to bring your crates, you can bring them, beds, toys. The bathroom is actually where I store the food and any of the other items that they bring with them during drop-off. So that way it's just out of mind, out of sight. No one can get to it. It's not in a cupboard, and it's just easier for actually feeding. Now, I wish I had more dogs so you can actually see the process of me feeding each and every dog, because sometimes I have 10 dogs, and it's like I get out the question how do you manage feeding them? And I'm like, oh, it's just a system I have, because I have the dedicated space.
So you mentioned, building your online presence and needing to revamp it after, having that initial one too. So, walk us through what that transformation looked like, having something and then having to go back to the drawing board, if you will, or revamping it or what have you. And what tips, our audience and our viewers are really, trying to, push things along with their business. What tips would you give other entrepreneurs looking to build trust online?
So that's a really good question. I think having a good team helps, but when you're starting out as a solopreneur or entrepreneur, you may be afraid to ask for help. I think one of the things that we have to do as Black entrepreneurs is not be afraid to ask for help. And, we don't have to do it all on our own. I mean, if you can, great. But if I know my homegirl can do social media for me, I'm gonna switch it off to her. But starting out, you definitely want to be able to learn some of the skills so that way you're able to mold and guide a person that is doing this work for you, what your vision is. Because if you don't have an idea of how any of these things done, you can ask for the moon and they're like, well, we can't do that. So I can give you this. I can give you a rock off the beach. Let's make
it a rock.
Exactly. You got it. So you have started. So I always start with Instagram. Instagram is key. Instagram loves dogs. Everyone loves dogs. I wish I wasn't allergic to cats. I would also have cats, but that's not my feeling. So with Instagram, I'm able to post photos and videos and reels. I'm not a big TikToker. I'm just probably not going to get into TikTok. But having Canva as accessible as it is for me to do the graphics, to post on there, the different templates on Instagram are very helpful. You can even just plug and chug. So that has really helped me to transform my online presence. And then being able to actually see the amount of dogs that I watch at one time, how many dogs are coming for extended stays, where they're actually sleeping, where they're playing, what they're doing, getting updates, it helps to build the picture of what this business actually does. And, everyone loves to see a smiling, cute dog. Duh.
Cool. So we're business in the Black, and we get down and dirty. I mean, and one of your sayings about Kirby's Paw Palace or KPP is, I got to do it for Pookie now. I mean, first of all, everybody knows a Pookie. I mean, whether it's in your family or like an extension of dotted line to your family, I mean, we gotta know Pookie. And if they ain't got a Pookie, you got a Junebug, you got somebody, you know. But anyways, your thing is, you know, I gotta do it for Pookie now. And, you know, that's a very powerful phrase in our community. And so, you know, who are the people behind your why and you know how you know get motivated and you know stay on the grind, because the business is not easy, you know. So you know who are your Pookie people?
My Pookie people, besides Kirby, is honestly my mother. My mother has been an amazing supporter throughout this whole entire process. She actually is a co-owner of Kirby's Paw Palace. Hey mom, I always said when I was younger, I'm going to retire you, I'm going to buy you a house. And that honestly, when I started getting into entrepreneurships, it was me trying to make sure I stayed true to that plan. I always wanted to make sure that she had enough money to go and enjoy life, because she worked all her life. Like, I've heard that all the time, mom, that, you know, you've been working and independent since you was 18. Yeah, girl, we get it. Okay. So have I. But one of the things, the core tenets of why I do things I do is because I want to retire. I want her to have a house. She's been living in New York. I'm from New York, in case you didn't know, Brooklyn all day. What's up? And so home ownership in New York is the city. So I want her to be able to experience that as a homeowner, enjoy it, just settle and rest. So that is truly one of the main reasons why I continue to do what I do. You know, I plan on expanding this business, and I plan on making it a 6-figure, 7-figure business. You know, I just got to have the right team and the right people behind me. So I really, truly appreciate having this platform to be able to talk about that, because I'm sure someone's out there going to watch this and they're going to be able to help.
Black-owned business doesn't mean that all your customers are black, you know, and you know we have to make sure that we are creating an inclusive environment. I don't care what they're saying out there in the world. Inclusivity, you know, we are better together. Okay, so keep that in mind. You know, even when you're watching, you know, our episodes, like, we're better together. Anybody can watch Business in the Black. And with that being said, you know, how do you navigate, you know, creating a neutral customer experience while still authenticating yourself, you know, as a Black business owner representing, you know, for the culture?
So it definitely starts with the tone of your business. I think you have to maintain a professional tone at all times, whether it be on your social media, whether it be on your website, whether it be just in talking to people. You have to maintain a professional attitude and dealing with customers. So dealing with customers is a very tricky thing, because everyone comes with their own personalities, and like I said, they're their children. They come with, you know, all these preconceived notions about their child, and as someone who watches their child when they're not in their own comfort of their home, I know they act differently. And so you don't want to come off like, oh yeah, your dog is a mess. I don't know what you're doing at home. Like, you ain't trained this dog. Like, no, you want to be able to communicate in a way that they'll understand it. Like, yeah, they had an accident, you know, they're probably nervous. And so I just made sure that they had ample time to go outside and use the bathroom. I took them on a walk because I realized that they were energetic and they needed to get some of that energy out before they destroyed something, you know, just things of that nature. I will totally agree with you, though, circling back, that because we are a Black business doesn't mean we don't accept other people's money, right? You know, most business gurus
or care for their dogs.
Or care for their dogs, yeah. Most business gurus, and I'll get back to that one. Most business gurus tell you that, you know, to really launch and expand your business, you got to use other people's money, whether that be credit cards, loans, grants, whatever it is you need, because everything coming out of your pocket, you will. Luckily, you know, I've been able to maintain this out of, you know, my pockets, and with the help of continuous clientele, it's been able to really grow and expand the different types of services that we offer, as well as the care that we're able to give these dogs that come to Kirby's Paw Palace. And to circle back on what you just said about, you don't have to be Black to just come here. I have clients of all different nationalities, different walks of life, and it helps to show that, one, I'm inclusive. I take everybody's money. I love everybody's dog. So being a black man in this business has been very interesting, especially when dealing with clients. Most of my clients happen to be female. And so one of the things that I try to ensure is that we don't do pickups, drop-offs at ungodly hours. Trying to make sure that if we're meeting for our meet and greets, we're doing it in public space, that way, again, where I can see the dog within. Also, you can have a level of comfort knowing that I'm not just meeting you at a park. I might, try to knock you over your head and kidnap you. Like, no, this is Kirby's Paw Palace is a legitimate business. We have, like I said before, we're a licensed kennel, so that has its own layer of protection and trust, if you will, for the business. And it allows for me to just show that I'm doing this because I, one, love having dogs around, love having dogs here for my dog, Kirby, and then also I have a passion for the industry.
We're in the Black Mecca of the South. So, being able to connect with other Black business owners and other Black owned pet care businesses, how have you been able to do that along your journey? And what advantages have you found throughout these connections?
I think that is a great question. I am actually part of a group of pet care providers, pet care service, pet care owners. There's a group of us, Pet Atlanta. Shout out to them. It is run by Wayne. He actually owns Happy Hearts Grooming. And so his vision was that, again, like you said, there are people doing this independently. Why not bring them together? Why not use the resources to be able to, hey, I need assistance with this. I need to learn about this. I need, advice on this, advice on that. Especially as someone who's taking this startup business seriously for pets. It provides a lot of resources. So one of the things that I think is important for me and all my Black business owners, entrepreneurs, is to be in community. You want to be able to be with those like-minded so they can push you. There's a saying, iron sharpens iron. And so that's one of the things that I think having that type of community behind you helps you to get. They give you access to grants. They give you access to different resources that you may need. There's a training that he's actually offering for pet teeth cleaning. And I was like, I don't know about that one. That might be a little bit too far for me, but it's an option to grow and expand the services that you have for your clientele and your business. And, obviously that'll bring in more revenue, but also it allows to, again, provide legitimacy and trust that, I'm certified. I have this training to do this. You should bring your pets to me, and we can offer that as a deal when you come. So, yeah. Networking is important. Networking is key.
Businesses, big business, small business, everything has seasons, like up and down. It's really good this time of year. It's we need to kind of figure some stuff out other times of year. So to help our listeners and our viewers, what do you do? How do you manage those, like your operations and your finances and just, your life during those seasons that may not be as profitable as others? And how do you identify, kind of what seasons are going to be, we're going to be booming this time of year, so I need to do this and that and the other, and some when you maybe scale back or what have you?
So I will say, for being in official KPP business for just over a year, we just made a year in August. One of the things that I did learn over that year was that there's a pickup during, for some reason, the fall time, obviously the holidays and stuff, but really it started to pick up in September, October. There was a lot of homecomings, and I think that was part of it. But then also the holidays, like the Thanksgiving holidays. Everyone doesn't want to bring their dog for like a short stay. For a short trip when they're traveling, but they'll leave their dog for that time period. I love doing gift giveaways. I did it for Christmas. The dogs really loved it, where I just put toys and I let them just choose a toy. And one of my clients was like, they love that toy. Like, they don't go to sleep without that toy. And, you know, that just warms my heart. So that is on the upswing of things. Now, the downswing of things, man, it is like, hello, are you on? Is it like, is my app working? Do I need to refresh it? Like, it truly is one of those moments where you have to, figure out like, I got to drum up some business. So I got to walk on the belt line and pass out cards. Cards are coming soon, but I have a digital card. I need to be able to reach out to my past clients like, hey, you know, how's everything going? Are you have any trips coming up? Just want to make sure that you know that we are available. We're here. Another thing that I've started doing was doing promotions for different holidays, just to ensure that, you know, people know that, hey, we are here, we're open. We just did one not too long ago for, what was the holiday? July 4th, where we had like offered free ice cream for the dogs when they booked by a certain time period. There was a picnic option. So offering different types of services to drum up business, I think that definitely helps. For me, though, that January period was very just slow, dry. Like, it's after the holidays, everyone's home, no one's doing anything, and randomly this year we had snow, so no one was really traveling that much. So I know that January usually is my slow month, and then I'll uptick around maybe March, right after spring break. As soon as the weather starts to get nice, people get the itch to travel. You know, they're like, here, take this dog. I'm going.
All right, great answer. I mean, it's like I say, it's really important to know how to fluctuate and figure out what your trends are and that sort of thing. And with those, you know, times, you know, whether it would be giving up a holiday or, you know, not having enough clientele or not really feeling like, I heard a lot of direct marketing in that last question, you know, like a lot
That's
of,
what that is.
you know, you got to be able to go directly to the people, directly to the source. Hey, let me send you something. Let me give you a flyer. Let me give you my QR code. You know, a lot of like right there, not passive. But in any case, you know, with all of it, that's a lot. That's a lot. And even if you have a team, you know, was there ever a moment that you considered quitting and being like, you know, I just can't do this no more? You know, I know this isn't your full-time job, so you have a full-time job plus this, you know, and what kept you going? What pulled you through?
I think about quitting every day. But seriously, as as an entrepreneur, it's hard, but then also running a business outside of your home makes it harder. And then on top of that, you have a full-time job. Yeah, I think about it more times than not. One of the things that has kept me through to keep this is I realize how good at it I am. I have another dog sitter who said that I have the gift, because she will have dogs that are like, yeah, you gotta watch out for this dog. They're picky. They're not gonna want to play. They're not going to come up. They're not going to come up to you. They're not going to do anything. And then when I get there, they're like running up to me. She's like, oh, well, damn. Okay. All right. You must got the gift, because dogs just really like you. And I'm just like, I guess. I think it is my energy, my demeanor. I've heard that I have good energy. So, and dogs sense energy. So I guess that is important in this line of work. But quitting, I take that with a grain of salt in my thinking of like ending my business. Because again, I'm doing it for Pookie and I'm doing it for Kirby. Like, she got to have a job. If I'm working, she got to work, you know. But also,
Lights got to be paid.
Listen, okay? Listen, I have a coworker. I guess they're colleague. There we go. They're a colleague in this industry. And she was like, you know, sometimes I don't even remember the dogs' names, but I remember what bill they pay. Like, I call this one light bill. I call this one gas. I call this one internet. I call this one car note. You know, and I'm just like, you know, I get that. That's because it is a lucrative business, and it's one of the businesses that has low overhead. So that's probably why I've been able to stave off that thought of quitting, because I'm like, it's low overhead, you're good at it, you're starting to build a team, you're starting to expand. You know, you can really make some forward movement with this. You know, just give yourself time, but then also taking breaks, replenishing yourself is so important, especially in any business. But specifically this one, when you have to deal with dogs and their parents, and is out of your house, it's like, well, where do I end and this business begin? So it's like you want to be able to take breaks. I enjoy taking breaks. I can't take too many breaks now because, you know, I give up my holidays for your dogs, but I'm able to take off priority weekends, I guess, if you will. Just be like, no, I'm busy. I'm tapped out. I'm just going to take a break. One of the things that my colleague did tell me, she was like, for my birthday, I take off. I mean, granted, I was going to do that September 16th. You know, ain't no dogs here. I'm sorry. But it's important to plan those breaks so you don't end up breaking, if that makes sense.
It's good. Plan the break so you don't end up breaking.
I like that too, right? You know, I'm a poet out here.
I just say not too much.
All right.
I mean, I laughed. I mean, I caught it, you know, so I
the
guess
people are going to love that.
I mean, hey.
They're going to love that.
I mean, hey, check.
You know.
Maya Angelou.
I wish I could do the accent.
Langston.
I can't. Langston Hughes. Nah.
You can't be Maya. Now, he wanted me to be Maya children because he knows I love imitating Maya Angelou. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Cut the cameras.
This entire interview has really been about, you know, your passion for dogs, your passion for the people who, you know, technically own or parent the dogs, and being able to just really create an environment in your home regarding to dog care.
Yes.
So help me, you know, you talked about, you know, having a 501c3.
Okay.
You know, I know that you're in the process of building this and that sort of thing. Talk to me about that and how, you know, the sheltering of dogs and that commitment, you know, goes beyond profit. We've talked a lot about money. We have. But there is a lot of, again, passion, you know, in KPP. So what inspires you to go this direction? You know, what impact do you hope to make?
Starting a nonprofit arm of my business is important to me because I do recognize that all dogs do not have a happy home to come to. One of the things that I want to do is make sure that we are able to help out shelters that are overcrowded with dogs on the list for euthanasia, be able to have another chance to find someone to truly care for them and make them have a forever home. So that's what I want to do with my nonprofit, is to take shelter dogs once they reach the capacity, take them in, shelter them, foster them for a while, and then hopefully that'll help them to get adopted outside of the shelter system.
Okay. I'm really interested in hearing more about this candle line. I mean, you know, so we've gone from, you know, KPP in its true fashion to, you know, sheltering dogs, to you also have dreams of having a candle line. I mean, you know, so tell me more about that, and how does that align again with KPP?
Listen, I think being in this industry, it's a very lateral move that you can make with all types of services, products that you have for your business. The candle line honestly grew out of the fact that, again, it's run out of my house, and dogs stink. Like, they just do. Like, your house smells like dog. I'm like, okay, let me just go buy a candle and figure it out. Then I realized that there are candles to take up that scent and neutralize that scent, for dogs. And I was like, oh, I can do that. Hopefully, maybe one day, you know, that is the plan, to have a candle line, because it can be tested not only in my house, it can be also a selling point for when parents drop their dog off or pick a dog up, like, hey, you know, oh, your house smells really good. Oh yeah, thank you. It's this candle. Yeah. Would you like to purchase it? You know, so just thinking about that, being able to expand and make sure your business is profitable, not only in the direct services that you offer, but even the products that you offer. Now, more to come on other ideas that I think of. Kirby will be the mascot for that as well.
In any business, you need to have measurable goals. You need to be able to, figure out, am I doing a good job? Am I not doing a good job? Am I being profitable? Am I making a difference or impact in the world? If you're mission driven, if you're passion driven, if you're money driven, you need to know how to figure out, am I doing what I set out to do?
Right.
So I have a question, how do you define success? And, what does success look like when it comes to Kirby's Paw Palace?
So that's a really good question. And I kind of struggle with how I truly wanted to define success in this business. Of course, making money is, no one sets out to start a business without making money, unless you're starting a nonprofit. That's just full stop, right? One of the things that I didn't want to base it on was that. Of course, I had a figure in my head. I was like, I need to do this amount every month to be good. Honestly, it truly is how many repeat customers I have. That for me shows me that I'm still doing something right. The dogs are thriving. They love to come here. I have dogs when they're dropped off for repeated stays that they're literally running here. Like, the owners are like, yeah, he don't even walk on a leash. She don't even walk on a leash anymore. She just runs up to the door and she's so excited. She knows where she is. She wants to be here. And I'm just like, that honestly warms my heart, but it also lets me know that I'm doing something right. To have repeat customers, for them to trust me with their children, to have them here for any amount of time, to be around my dog, that is a measure of success for me.
What's been the most surprising joy that you've discovered during building this business?
So one of the more surprising joys that I've experienced in this business has honestly been playing with dogs. It truly is fun playing with the dogs, like playing fetch, going on walks, seeing them interact, seeing their different quirks. All dogs have their own personality. So just seeing it come to life, because again, I have a questionnaire, I ask about the dog's behaviors and all that other stuff, but truly getting to see it live is just amazing. I have a dog that he loves to jump on my stool countertop table and just lay there like he's a cat. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that wasn't in the questionnaire, but all right. I have another dog. She likes to just pee everywhere. Not in the house, but she pees outside. She's going to mark her territory. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And then, of course, with different ages, we have the grumpy old people who are just like, I just came here to sleep. That's it. And then I have the puppies who are like, I came to play, so everybody going to play. And I don't care how annoying I'm going to be. I'm going to still want you to play. And then we're going to play fetch. And then we're going to go for a walk. And then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do that. And I'm just like, calm it down, puppy. Like, this is your first real time with other dogs. So, again, having Kirby be mild-mannered and helping with that socialization allows for them to be their best self and then also go forward being more aware of their surroundings. So, playing with dogs for 10,000, Alex.
If you could go back to, say, a year ago and give yourself, or even a year and a half ago, or whenever you started doing Rover or what have you, and give yourself one piece of advice, just one, what would it be?
Set boundaries. Have boundaries as a business owner, because working with people, they need to have boundaries. If you say that you are opening at a certain time or taking dogs at a certain time and not taking dogs after a certain time, you need to stick to that. I am trying to be more clear as I go. It's a learning process about what my boundaries in this business are. I had used to answer text messages all times of night, and then I had to stop that. I used to send pictures at random times, and I was just like, you know what? No, we need to be more coordinated. That's why we do the 9 a.m., 3 p.m., 9 p.m. pictures, videos. If you want more, we can charge you for that, and let that be that. But having boundaries allows for you to grow your business with integrity, and it lets your clientele know that I'm serious and this is not, we are professional in our responses, obviously. But you can't just do whatever it is that you want. Like, this is a regimented situation. We have structure here. These are the rules. If you can abide by that, then your dog will be great here. If you can't abide by that, then this may not be the place for you. And it's okay to turn down clients, because it only will benefit your business more when you're able to say, this is not a boundary I'm willing to cross. And so all dogs are not allowed here. We welcome all dogs, but all dogs may not thrive here. And they may need to find somewhere where they can actually thrive better.
Let's bring Kirby back.
Okay, Kirby, come here.
There you go, sweetie.
Awesome. All right, Kirby. So, looking at Kirby right now, who, literally inspired this entire journey, and gave, it's her name, that's the business. What would you want to say to her right now about the legacy you're building to honor her? And for anyone listening who has a dream that they're afraid to chase, what would both you and Kirby want them to know about taking that first brave step?
So you had asked a question earlier about the why. The why is definitely important, but also who you're doing it for. So obviously my why is my mother, and who I'm doing it for is Kirby. I want her to have an amazing life. I want her to continue to have amazing experiences. They are children of ours. They're only here for a short amount of time, but they make such a big impact in your life. And I felt like I didn't choose Kirby. Kirby chose me. It was kind of kismet how I ended up saying I wanted a dog. And then I found a video on Facebook saying, oh yeah, we have this dog. And I was like, okay, cool. So I looked through the video, and then I just saw this dog. And it kind of, I don't know if you can see it, but she kind of had like a heart shape when she was younger on her chest. And I was just like, that's my dog. And I was like, I have the name and everything. And it just worked out from there. Because I was really, really concerned about my work, full time, and how am I going to take care of a dog. And then I also like to travel. Shout out to my grandma, may she rest in peace. But she was like, you like to travel? And I was like, unhoused people have dogs all the time. I can make this work. So I just went for it, honestly. And again, having your why, having who you do it for makes a difference, because it'll keep you getting out of bed in the morning or at night, whatever your business, whatever that looks like. And it'll allow for you to continue to maintain that grit to get to the place that you want. Thanks for watching this episode of Business in the Black with Kirby's Paw Palace. This is Kirby. We want to say thank you again. If you are interested in following us on our social medias, it is Kirby's Paw Palace, KIRBYS PAWPALACE on all social media platforms. And if you are interested in booking and joining our pack, you can go to www.kirbyspawpalace.com. We look forward to seeing you soon. Say bye, Kirby.
That's another episode of Business in the Black, where Black entrepreneurs turn vision into victory. Ready for more game-changing strategies and success stories? Connect with us everywhere. Facebook, Business in the Black Pod. YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, Business in the Black Pod, no spaces. Spotify and Apple Podcast, Business in the Black. Keep building, keep growing, keep winning, and keep building your legacy.